I will now call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Texas Southmost College District. Trustees present, Mrs. Delia Sáenz, Dr. Norma Lopez Harris, Ms. Alejandra Aldrete, Dr. Tony Zavaleta, Mr. Edgar Garcia, Mr. Edward C. Camarillo, myself, and our president, Dr. Jesus Roberto Rodriguez. And I'll call on Dr. Zavaleta for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Public comment? No public comment today? I'm going to start with the Chairwoman's report. Before I give an update, I would like the record to reflect that all TSC Board of Trustee members have completed all the cybersecurity and other training required of them by TSC Board Policy BBD Legal. Board members obtain orientation and training. Let it reflect on the minutes, please. Okay. Some of us went to the conference in Seattle. Vice Chair Science, Secretary Dr. Lopez Harris, and had good training. Every time we go to these trainings and these conferences, we realize how good we're doing. You go to the training and you sit there and you're going, we did that 2 years ago, or we've never done that. Oh, thank God we're not in trouble. We sat in a training that the board took over the college, and they got rid of 5 consecutive presidents in a row, and they almost lost their college. So we realized, no, we're doing good. So it's good training. It's good to network and show what our college is about, and we thoroughly enjoyed it and certainly learned a lot. Then we had the Dia de los Muertos celebration. What a fun event that was. Thank you to all that participated. Our faces were painted. The program was excellent. Dr. Tipton did an amazing job. Thank you so much for filling the place up and having the students exposed and partake in our celebration. Thank you, Dr. Tipton. And now, I would like to introduce 2 gentlemen that I love and respect. Judges, Judge Recio and Judge Magallanes. It's almost been a year since we lost Mr. Ruben Herrera. He had dreams, and so did we, of seeing the courtroom being utilized as a training courtroom, and he had big dreams of having a hearings and criminal cases and all that could be done. Unfortunately, he passed, but he left us all trying to honor him because he was an excellent trustee and a good friend to many of us. At this time, I am going to introduce Judge Magallanes, this State District Judge of the 357 Court. He'll be sharing information about a pilot program designed to be a learning opportunity for our students using the TSC Legal Center courtroom. And I'm going to get to him. And Judge Recio, would you please come to the podium and tell us what you're planning?
Madam Chair, Mr. President, Dr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the Board of Trustees, thank you for this opportunity to address you tonight. As you know, we have a courtroom on campus The courtroom committee has expressed its desire to expand the use of that building as much as possible. We have, on a daily basis, we use the courtroom, the classrooms in that courtroom. We've had three, what we call the Community College Law 101 lectures on family law, states, and also on family business law. The attendance in those programs wasn't as much as we had liked, but we will continue to work on that. Today, we utilized the courtroom with our semi-annual board of advisors for the paralegal program that was held today at the court. All of us know that this court was built in large part by the efforts of Mr. Herrera, Ruben. Ruben was really behind this project, worked very hard. We had many discussions and disagreements while we were getting all this done, but we prevailed and the courtroom was built. One of the dreams that he had about this courtroom is that it be utilized in real court proceedings, both civil and criminal. And we've moved slowly in that direction. Judge Magallanes and I have had some discussions about it going back several months. And we've come up with a plan, and I'd like for the judge to explain the program.
So it's a pleasure to be here before this board. In essence, what came out of the discussion that Judge Recio and I had was one thing that was abundantly clear to us from the very beginning, and you need to know this, is that this whole thing was vetted through safety considerations, because we do not want to do anything that is going to compromise or endanger or put in harm's way any of the TSC community, students, faculty, and anybody who could be on campus. And we shared that concern from the get-go. So our discussions were meant to filter out what type of case could we do that would meet that criteria, the most important criteria, in my opinion, the safety issue. Now, I had mentioned to Ruben a long time ago when this got finished, this Judiciary Center, because he was very enthusiastic about it. He talked to me about it. And we had mentioned the idea of us having our hearings every once in a while in that courtroom, utilizing your courtroom, so that would be an opportunity to have a live teaching moment for those students that have a related law enforcement curriculum. Law enforcement, paralegals, business law, all of them touch upon those areas. And it seemed to me that I said, well, you have a perfectly functioning courtroom. I wish I had it. I wish that was my courtroom, because it's, I understand that your technology is second to none. It's certainly better than mine. I still have wrap that aluminum foil around the antenna to get some internet into my courtroom, right? So, but anyway, I said, why not? And in exploring that, we've come to the conclusion that, as everything does when you're trying to honor somebody, and that's the bottom line here, we wanted to see his vision and dream turn into a reality. And this is our proposal to start that process, to get that to be a reality in his honor. And so we also, this is a fluid situation, and it also involves a lot of moving parts. It involves certainly your institution, the professors that teach these courses, the students' schedules, the amount of time that it would take to make any presentation that would be consistent with the students' schedule so that it would not be disruptive, because we're mindful of the fact that we are aware of the community, the student community. A lot of them work, a lot of them have families, a lot of them rush off to do stuff. So we understand that. But I think that even in that, with those kind of criteria, we can still succeed if we plan it well. I had proposed to Judge Recio when we started talking about this. I said, I can cooperate. And I can carry the water with my colleagues over at the courthouse and with the district attorney's office, because I think this is a project worthwhile. Number one, we are all sold to this, that this is a project that will enhance the educational experience of your students in those departments. It will provide for a better sense of where they're going. What is reality all about? Because it comes back to, I remember going to law school, and the big failure, and at that time criticism of law school, was that it prepared you for the books, but it never prepared you in practicality, to see a practical application of the principles you were learning in the classroom in law school. And subsequently, that became another branch. They started sponsoring free clinics for people that didn't have the income. They could give advice and all that. That it was better, and then they would even get to go to court and stuff with them. So it became an overall holistic experience, educational holistic experience for those law students. We want to do that for this, with your blessings, with your cooperation. We believe it's a worthwhile endeavor. We believe that it's going to take some work to. We are also mindful of the fact that from our side, there's a lot of planning to do too, right? Because our schedules. But we want to share some of those days with you, to bring some of our paralegals. I was telling the chairman and the president the other day that in my experience, the paralegal profession, they mainly find a job in the civil area of law. Am I right? They do have them in criminal law, but they mainly find their job in the civil. Basically, why? Because it pays a little bit more than the criminal. That's the bottom line. So exposing the paralegal class to a civil case, a short hearing or something, so they can see what they're studying in practicality. Convert the theory to reality. I think that you would have a better student, a more prepared, not better, but a more prepared student. There would be an attraction in the job market, because they got taught at one of the best paralegal schools in the area, TSC. That's why. That's an enhancement of the educational experience. So we're asking you the request is for permission to move ahead. Well, after the whole vetting process, we concluded that there was one particular case after we vetted the security issues and what type of case. We are not going to bring on campus any 3G offices. They call them 3G offices. Those are murders, aggravated assaults, aggravated rapes, anything aggravated where a weapon is displayed. They will not come. Those are not the type of cases we're talking about. So let me allow your fears there. We have collated them to the point where we have defendants that are on bond. And when they're out in bond, they have conditions to comply with while they're out there in bond waiting for their case to be heard. And people that are on bond, because we don't need security for them, because they're out there in the community already. Okay, that's the other criteria. And finally, like that one, the one we chose was a driving while intoxicated, and it's a motion to suppress. The defense wants the judge wants me, actually, it's my case, wants me to suppress the evidence because there was some kind of constitutional violation of the defendant's rights when he was arrested. So he's filed that motion. It's a simple motion. It doesn't take, hours. It'll be concluded within the span of an hour, which I believe is probably the time limit for the classrooms. I don't know. The classroom time is 1 hour, I suspect, or 45 minutes. I don't know. Does that?
Yeah, yes.
So well within the hour they have for that class, we could accommodate better, right? If we keep it within that hour of their classroom. And that's what we're attempting to do. And that's the one we thought about, and that's what one Judge Recio and I talked about it, concluded that's the one we were going to run with. We approached Chairman Garza and subsequently President Rodriguez about our idea. We responded to some inquiries made by your head of security in this campus to hopefully his satisfaction, because he did not follow up on any other questions. And of course, if he does, we will be at the ready. We will respond to assure you all that we are on board 100% subject to your approval, as we are doing right now. Request. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Judge Magallanes and Judge Recio, for all the work that you've done. This is for information only. We don't get to vote on it. The president does operations, but I wanted the board to hear it from them because they did extensive work. They presented it really well to where I said, why not? And I think it's a good thing for our students. I think it's a good thing for our program. So I'll open it up if anybody has any questions or curiosity. Go ahead.
Judge Magallanes, will you bring your bailiff with you?
Yes.
Will you bring your bailiff with you?
When we come, we'll bring my staff, my actual staff, the court administrator that handles, in this case, a criminal case, my bailiff, and my court. It'll be an official proceeding.
Very good.
Anything else? No? Thank you so much. Thank you for coming, Judge Magallanes, Judge Recio. And now I will ask President Rodriguez to give us his report.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, trustees. I would like to begin my report by highlighting a number of events hosted by the Instruction Department to deepen the students' learning and strengthen community connections. First, the TSC Legal Center continues to host workshops as part of Law 101 series, most recently in family law and business law. Thank you to Judge, once again, Felix Recio and Dr. Kevin O'Malley for your dedicated work in providing these types of workshops. We look forward to continuing to serve our community members through the TSC Legal Center. This year, our Math and Science Department brought back the celebration of Mole Day. It's not mole, but it's Mole Day, all right? Which is a basic measuring unit in chemistry, similar to the concept of pi mathematics, which is 3.14. Mole Day is celebrated by chemists worldwide on October 23rd. Why October 23rd? Because the mole measuring unit is 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd power, which makes it October 23rd.
Okay.
Now, it's cool. I mean, I got to throw that in there because the faculty did a wonderful job. And our faculty designed this wonderful event to promote the math and science. And we had over 260 TSC students show up to participate. They took part in the hands-on activities and learned about our programs. So I really want to thank our faculty in math, science, and general studies who produced this event to engage our students. Our students' artwork is being featured in the Master Copy Fine Arts Student Exhibition. Opening night was November 13th. And the exhibits run through the end of the semester. I encourage you to stop by the iTech Art Gallery to see the students' impressive replication of our famous masterpieces. On Tuesday, we held an MOU signing with Texas Women's University at the TSC Performing Arts Center. We were pleased to host TWU Vice Provost for Curriculum and Strategic Initiative, Dr. Jorge Figueroa Flores, and his team for the event. The agreement will facilitate the seamless transition of TSC students into TWU's baccalaureate program. We're pleased to add Texas Women's University as another pathway through which our graduates may continue their education. And we continue to recruit for the spring semester. On November 7th, I participated in the coin toss at Bogus Stadium, where Harlingen High School South took on Weslaco East High School. I would like to thank the interim Harlingen Consolidated Independent School District Superintendent, Dr. Corton, for her invitation. In addition, I want to thank Judy Moreno and the Student Services team because once again, they were there in full force promoting Texas Southmost College to the community, and I thank them for their dedication for the communities that we serve. We also are targeting our high school CTE students for recruitment. Earlier this week, we hosted BISD high school seniors who are currently enrolled in CTE programs at their high schools. We had the opportunity to talk to them about the programs we offer, and they toured the labs for our credit and CE programs at iTech. I look forward to seeing many of these students come back for CTE signing day in the spring. Thank you to Mrs. Vasquez for for providing leadership for the event, as well as the faculty and staff in instruction, workforce training, and student services for their collaboration. At the same time, we're recruiting our CTE students. We are providing outreach to the teachers, counselors, and administrators, building upon our success with the BISD CTE Summit we held earlier this semester. We reached out to our CTE school partners across our service area. They engaged in interactive breakout sessions led by our college navigators and participated in a tour of the iTech. Once again, I want to thank Mrs. Vasquez and Judy Moreno for their leadership in coordinating this event. And thank you to our student services, instruction, and workforce training departments for your continued collaboration. I would also like to thank our Madam Chair Garza for participating in this event. As we continue to strengthen our community connections by hosting some well-loved and festivities for the fall event. We once and again held our popular Halloween Haunted Grounds tour last month. Many community members came out for a spine-chilling evening along our TSC haunted trails. It continues to be a good draw. And as we have reported, with Madam Chair said, we hosted our Dia de los Muertos celebration on November 1st. Our campus community really goes all out in putting this together. They organized a wonderful parade, face painting, refreshments, entertainment. It has become also a good signature event at Texas Southmost College. Finally, our Veterans Day ceremony drew great community support, including coverage on the front page of the Brownsville Herald. Judge Jaime Tijerina, who is a Bronze Star recipient, was our keynote speaker. He offered a heartfelt tribute to our veterans at TSC and the community, as well as the families that support them. I want to thank Dr. David Plummer, VP of Student Services, for taking the lead in organizing this event. I'd also like to thank our Madam Chair, Garza, for providing the welcoming and participating, as well as our trustee, Camarillo, for showing up and showing your support, sir. And now, it is time for this month's video highlighting the activities that have occurred since we last met.
Let me just recognize a student that I just turned around and looked at again. Mr. Zapata, would you stand up? He's one of our students and decided to come and see where the sausage is made. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Please start the video, sir.
It was my dream to have this plaque established honoring African-American troops at Fort Brown.
It means a lot to this community and to this college. This is what happened. This is where it happened. They were doing their duty to keep us safe.
May this historical marker be a place of reflection, of education, and inspiration for all who visit.
With the dedication of this plaque today, we reaffirm our role as stewards of the history that defines our communities. In closing, as we look forward to Thanksgiving next week, I would like to take this moment to extend our heartfelt thank you to our Board of Trustees. So on behalf of our faculty, staff, and students, we truly appreciate your commitment and support to the college and the communities that we serve. And in addition, I thank the entire faculty and staff for your dedication to our mission and to our students. Thank you. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Item number 6, consideration and possible action on the approval of the minutes of the following meetings. ¿Qué meetings tenemos? Regular meeting, October the 17th, 2024.
I so move.
Second.
Have a motion by Ms. Science, second by,
Ms. Aldrete.
I'm sorry, Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. Camarillo?
Yes.
Did I get it right? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
It was before, was there any discussion? Anything wrong with them that you saw? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. 7, consideration and possible action on approval of resolution for Cameron County Appraisal District. I'll call Mr. Perez.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Before you have an action item, the Cameron Appraisal District has a board of directors. We recently received from them the ballot, the official ballot, listing about 19 candidates. Those 19 candidates are in your packet. Some of them have given their resumes, okay? We are allowed, Texas Southmost College is allowed 235 votes. We can allocate, or you can allocate those votes as you choose amongst the various candidates. The resolution that has been proposed is to approve the resolution of the election of Cameron County Appraisal District Board of Directors, allocating all 235 votes to our proposed delegate. Madam Chair, may I read the resolution?
Yes.
Resolution, the State of Texas, County of Cameron. Whereas the Chief Appraiser of Cameron Appraisal District has called the election of the Cameron Appraisal District Board of Directors, and whereas the Texas Southmost College District is entitled to cast a total of 235 votes in said election, and whereas ballots must be returned by December 15th, 2024, which is the deadline for accepting votes. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Texas Southmost College District that the Board of Trustees does hereby cast 235 of votes for Cameron Appraisal District Board of Directors for 2025-2026 as follows. Alejandra Aldrete, 235 votes. Read, passed, and approved at a regular meeting by the Board of Trustees of Texas Southmost College on this blank-div blank 2024 by the board chair for Texas Southmost College, attested to by the secretary. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, it's only fair that we proposed Ms. Aldrete. But that has changed, right? This year, it changed because we used to get one vote as a board, right? It has changed since, last
Mr.
time.
Peña about that, because the information that I have from the Cameron Appraisal District was the 235 votes. Well, we have one member, yes. One member.
I guess all entities have a member. So every entity votes for their own.
We can cast all 235 votes for a variety of potential delegates or for one delegate.
So I have, I move to approve the resolution for the election of the Cameron County Appraisal District Board of Directors. I have a motion, I made the motion? I made the motion? You second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Let's hope that this time we have a representative. It's long overdue, long overdue. And I hope you've been making some
I
calls
do.
too.
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Number 8, Academic Committee. Dr. Zavaleta?
Yes, ma'am. Item number 8. A, consideration and possible action on approval of the memorandum of understanding with the United Way of Southern Cameron County Volunteer Income Tax Assistant, the VITA program, or TSC Accounting Technology Program. I move
No. Did you want Dr. Garcia to present the item, Dr. Zabaleta?
Excuse me?
Did you want Dr. Garcia to present the item?
Yes, please. Sorry.
That's all right. Chair Garza, members of the board, President Rodriguez, I'm going to give you a quick background on the facility, and then Dr. Miller's here to talk about the actual accounting technology program that operates from this site. So this site has been at the campus for over 10 years. This is just formalizing the agreement. We're bringing this MOU for you to consider so that we have a formal agreement in terms of what we're responsible for, what United Way is responsible for. And Maggie Solis is a program coordinator of the accounting technology program. She was at the committee meeting. Dr. Emma Miller is the dean overseeing all of those programs. So with your permission, she can provide you additional information on what they do at that VITA site.
Thank you, Dr. Garcia. Good evening, Madam Chair, President Rodriguez, and ladies and gentlemen of the board. If you're not familiar with the VITA program, it stands for Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. It's an IRS-sponsored initiative that provides free tax preparation services to individuals and families with low to moderate income limits. Through this program, the IRS Preparation Services provides volunteers to help with federal income tax returns, aiming to ensure taxpayers receive all eligible credits and refunds, such as earned income tax credits and child tax credits. So this particular program is really beneficial for not only the students, but because they get certified by the IRS to be able to provide this service to the community, but the community itself benefits from this relationship that we have with the United Way of Southern Cameron County. Do I have any questions?
There being no questions, I move to approve the MOU with the United Way of Southern Cameron County Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program to support the TSC Accounting and Technology Program.
I second that.
I have a motion by Dr. Zabaleta, second by Ms. Aldrete. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Item 8B, consideration and possible action to approve a renewal of the articulation agreement with Midwestern State University. And go right ahead, please.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Ms. Garza, members of the Board of Trustees, and President Rodriguez. So I'm here to present for your consideration and possible action for a renewal of an articulation agreement between Midwestern University, State University, and Texas Southern College. So this is a renewal. This is the second time that this articulation agreement is, going on. So this agreement allows graduates from health professions with an associate degree to move into a bachelor's degree. So they will not lose any credit if they move into the Midwestern State University.
Thank you.
Any questions, anybody?
No.
No.
All right, there being no questions, I move to approve the articulation agreement with Midwestern State University for health profession graduates, authorize President Rodriguez to sign the agreement.
A motion by Dr. Zabaleta,
Second.
second by Ms. Aldrete. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Thank you, Dr. Guajardo.
Thank you.
Item 8C, consideration and possible action on award of RFP 25-02 for online learning platform American Council on Education Programs. Please, go right ahead.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Thank you, Dr. Zabaleta, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Rodriguez. Before you, you have an item regarding the online learning platform for American Council on Education, or what we call ACE programs. We did an RFP soliciting software for a learning platform that would address the online learning provided by an ACE program. Issued the RFP back in October, got the results back in November. This platform will offer programs and courses to deliver training and programs to our students, faculty, and our staff. We are requiring that it offer a broad catalog of content and credentials for many different courses in industries and colleges and universities that would lead to certifications and licensures. Very sort of specific solution we were looking for. And so I'm going to pass it over to AVP Hernandez to give you some details and answer any questions, since this really is his baby.
Thank you, Mr. Real. Madam Chair, excuse me, members of the board, President Rodriguez, good evening. This online platform, it'll give us an opportunity to offer programs and credentials to what we call third-party credentials. Under House Bill 8, when approved, it gave us this opportunity to offer third-party credentials that would provide us some extra funding from the formula funding. So the only requirement for those third-party credentials, of course, they have to be ACE certified. They need to be certified by the American Council on Education, right? So that's the main reason why we were looking for an online platform that had that number of approved programs, so that we could offer those programs to anyone in the community.
Any questions or comments?
And just for the record, there was one respondent, and that is Coursera. And so we had seen Coursera, we were aware of what they did, we were trying to see if there was anybody else that provided the same or similar platform, and there were no other respondents.
It's great to have choices.
Yeah, it narrowed things down considerably for the committee, as I recall. Yes.
Go ahead, Dr. Saleh.
Okay, I move to award RFP 25-02 for online learning platform, American Council of Education, ACE programs to Coursera, Inc., and authorize President Rodriguez to negotiate and execute the contract as presented.
I second that.
A motion by Dr. Zabaleta, second by Ms. Aldrete. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
And finally, item 8D, consideration and possible action on approval for Learning Management System annual contract for 2024, 2025, and subsequent 3 years.
Again, thank you, Dr. Zavaleta, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rodriguez. The item before you is a contract renewal for a platform we've been using for many years. This is our content learning management platform known as Canvas through a company called Instructure. We're asking that we are allowed to renew this contract for, I think, 4 years, correct? Our current contract was for 4 years. This is the platform that our faculty uses to provide course content to our students, to manage all of the delivery mechanisms for the student to pass their classes. We did perform a survey with our faculty to make sure that this is a platform they wanted to continue to use, and I believe I think 98% of the faculty are at least satisfied, 75% or more are extremely satisfied with the platform, believes it does everything we need it to do. There are others. I've actually been at schools that had others. I think Canvas is the best personally. And we want to grow the relationship. They have other tools that we probably will consider over the next year to extend our abilities to the faculty to provide quality content management to the students.
So this is a continuing.
Yes, it's a renewal, so it's a renewal for another 4 years. It has been reviewed by legal, yes.
All right.
If you have any questions,
comments?
Mr. Hernandez is again here to address those.
I move to approve the annual contract for learning management system with Infrastructure Canvas through Omnia contract R201402 and FY 24-25 and for 3 years forward.
I second.
A motion by Dr. Zabaleta, second by Ms. Science. Any discussion?
Madam Chair, can I ask one question?
Sure.
Compared to 4 years ago, is the pricing change higher, lower?
Yeah, I saw you looking at the slide, and so I was trying to go back to that slide. I felt it, but I
When you said about
mishandled
adding
my
on
tool
maybe
as
more-
usual. I've
more
never
other
mastered this
items,
thing.
I
It's
thought it was
gone up. It's gone up about 30 or 40. I think 30,000, and it's based on
And it's mainly based
For
on
the record,
usage.
you want me to
Our
know
FTE count went over, I believe, by about 1,000 FTEs.
So more students.
Gotcha, thank you.
Yeah.
There it is. Thank
Okay.
you, Danny.
Just like everything else, right?
Of course.
Cost of inflation.
Yeah. Thank you. Any more questions? Okay, thank you, sir. Sirs.
Thank you. Did you vote?
We didn't vote.
Oh, we didn't take a vote.
I'm not leaving till there's a vote.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Zavaleta. Finance Committee, Ms. Science?
The Finance Committee met on Tuesday, November 12, 2024. Present were Chair Garza, President Rodriguez, myself, members of the TSC administration, and College Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following. 9A, consideration and possible action on approval of matching grant support for the 2025-26 AmeriCorps Texas Operational Grant. I call on Dr. Stella Garcia and Dr. Angela McCauley.
Thank you, Vice Chair Science, Chair Garza, members of the board, President Rodriguez. This is a renewal application, and with your permission, I'll ask Dr. McCauley to tell you a little bit about the program.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Trustees, President Rodriguez. As Dr. Garcia mentioned, this would be our third application for the AmeriCorps Texas program. Through this program, we employ 32 student workers. It's, the grant total is $563,000. Of that, we are required to match 24%. So our match would be in kind is our proposal, matched with the salaries of supervisors who supervise the members mainly, and some space that is used for grant activities. And I'll let you know that most of these, the grant dollars go right into students' pockets. There are student employees, and other than some background checks and a couple of administrative expenses we have, most of this grant goes right to students.
Okay.
I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Do your motion.
I move to approve the allocation of matching grant in-kind support of up to $135,284.21 for the 25-26 AmeriCorps Texas Operational Grant, contingent on the notice of grant award from the One Star Foundation.
A motion by Ms. Science,
I second.
second by Dr. Lopez Harris. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Item 9B, consideration and possible action on approval for e-commerce payment center module annual contract for fiscal year 24-25 and the subsequent 4 years. I call on Mr. Luis Villarreal and Dr. Gisela Figueroa to present.
Thank you, Ms. Science, Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez. Before you, for your consideration, have a renewal of our e-commerce payment application, which is TouchNet. We utilize this system for student online payments, for cashiering, for the used stores marketplace. So basically, all of our cashiering related activities, including payment plans for our students, go through this platform, and it gives us the ability to have services 24/7. There is an increase in price with this contract, just like with every other technology program. They put a 4% escalator year to year. So we're seeking your approval to continue this contract for the next 4 years as well.
I move to approve annual contract for e-commerce payment center module with TouchNet Information Systems, Inc. through the exempted purchase method for fiscal year 24-25 and the subsequent 4 years.
Motion by Ms. Science,
Second.
second by Dr. Lopez Harris. Any discussion?
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Item 9C, monthly financial statement report for the month ending September 30th, 2024. Dr. Figueroa and Mr. Carlos Pecero to present.
Thank you, Ms. Science. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, we have the monthly financial statements for the month of September, and with your permission, I have Mr. Carlos Pecero present those.
Thank you, Dr. Figueroa. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, as Dr. Figueroa mentioned, we have for you the financial statements for the month of September. We're going to present three fund types: budget, revenue, and expenditure summaries. I'll mainly concentrate my presentation on this column here for September. So the first of the three fund types is the education and general fund. And on this slide, we have a subtotal for revenue in the month of September of 6.6 million. On the following slide is where the expenditures category begins. And we have two subtotals here for salaries and wages and benefits, and that is 1.6 and 467,000. The following slide has the M&O category. It goes through that slide and concludes here with a subtotal of 1.5 million. On this slide, we have travel and general institutional, and those subtotals are 77,000 and 161,000. This is the last slide for general fund. We have a total expenses subtotal of 3.9 million, so that's revenue and expenditures for general fund. On this slide, we have where we recap our budget amendments. As you all recall, on October 17th, there was a regular board meeting. The Board of Trustees voted on a budget amendment. So on the October financial statement reports, we'll recap that activity here. We're currently presenting the month of September. On this slide, we have the auxiliary fund and the revenues category, subtotal of 490,000. The next slide has the expenditures, the start of the expenditures category, two subtotals, one for salaries and wages, just 46,000, and almost 11,000 for benefits. On this slide, we have M&O, which concludes on the following slide, and that subtotal is 35,000. The last slide for auxiliary fund, we have a subtotal here for 93,000, so that's revenue and expenditures for the auxiliary fund. And the last of the three funds, we have our general obligation and revenue bond funds. We have revenue on this slide for the month of September of 35,000 and no expenditures in the month of September. So that's all three fund types, revenue and expenditures. On this slide, we have our insurance detail, and we have two subtotals that I'd like to share with you. 216,000 for general fund and 5,600 for auxiliary fund. The following slide is where our debt service payment detail begins. We have several tables that display the payment information for all of our outstanding bonds. On this slide, we have our fund balance recap. This data still coincides with the audited financial statements for fiscal year 23, and there's no change to report on this slide from the last time we presented it to the board. There's still 195 days of operations.
Very good. Thank you.
With that, I'll conclude my report. If there's any questions, I'd like to try and answer them.
Any questions?
No. This item is for information only. No action is required.
Thank you.
Item 9D, report on the grants awarded to Texas Southmost College for the month of September. I call on Dr. Figueroa.
Thank you, Ms. Science. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, before you have a listing of the grants that were awarded to the college during the month of September. That includes the Lowy 21st Century grant for $2 million for this year. The Carl Perkins, which is $234,000. We have Perkins Leadership Grant as well for $198,000. BISD Adult Education Grant for $60,000. and a respiratory care scholarship grant received for $10,000. So that makes a total of $2,502,000 in grants that were secured for the month of September.
Very good, very good. This item is for information only, no action is required, and this concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Science. I kind of missed Dr. Fuentes' voice up there with grants. We miss you. Okay. Facilities, Mr. Camarillo, your turn.
Yes, ma'am. The Facilities Committee met on Tuesday, November the 12th, 2024. Present were Chair Garza, Trustee Garcia, President Rodriguez, myself, members of the TSC administration, and College Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following items. 10A, facility projects updates. I'd call on Dr. Garcia.
Thank you, Trustee Camarillo, Chair Garza, members of the board, President Rodriguez. I have my entourage right now.
I'm looking at it, and they all dressed up for the occasion.
That's right, yeah.
I mean, it's impressive.
I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Robles, but I do want to tell you that we did, the presentation you have this evening is updated from what you had in your packet. We added some additional photos. So you'll see those this evening. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Ronnie Robles. You want to click through it?
Madam Chairman, board members, and President, thank you for the opportunity to present this information. I have Gerardo Mascoro and Georgia Hinojosa here. In case there's some questions that potentially you may have, they can help as well. So I'd just like to start. What you're going to see is first is dedicated chillers for the rec center as well as the child care unit number 2. All chillers have been delivered and installation basically has been completed in their pads, and you'll see pictures of there in a minute. We're also going to have a new water meter installed, and that's in the process of being finalized so that we can get it in, so that we have that meter so we can actually gauge the true usage of water for our plant. Chiller 2 was delivered, as well as the child care center. All electrical conduit has been completed. There's some minor adjustments that need to be made, but it's nothing that's going to be extraordinary. It'll be completed and ready to go. Both structures have been completed. The completion date is still December 31st, so we're still on track. Here you'll see the chiller for the child care center number 2. It's on the truck, and the crane getting ready to move it over. You'll see where it's strapped on the left, and then on the right side it's being lifted. On the left slide, you'll see where it's almost in its pad, and then on the right side, it's on its pad. This is the rec center. You'll see that on the left slide, the 2 trucks or the 2 chillers, they're preparing to be docked. The one on the right shows where chiller number 1 or number 2, I'm not sure which one it is, number 1 is going to be put in its place, and you'll see that some of the piping with the silver on it, that's the insulation that has been installed on it. Here you'll see an aerial view of where it's about to come down in the first pad closest to that vehicle. There, we're moving the second one into place. It's getting closer, and both now are in place. So that's quite a feat on both sides because it's been a long time, and with the board's support, this is what we're looking at. So thank y'all very much for doing that. Both facilities are going to run much more efficiently with these new units. Thermal plant, the cooling tower installation is moving along. Demo has already started on piping infrastructure as well as electrical. So we're moving on that as well. The electrical equipment will start to be installed here in the next few weeks once we know that demo's been completed so that they're not in each other's way. We got five cooling towers were delivered summer of 2024. Completion is December of '25. Here you'll see the old chillers, I'm sorry, the old water cooling towers. And these are the new ones that have been delivered and are staged, ready to install.
Those things are impressive, impressively big.
Yeah. Here's an aerial of the one on the left and then how they're sitting staged on the right. iTech projects. We've got the parking lot
Mr.
light.
Robles, before you go back, have we heard anything about the water tower? They were supposed to have demolished it this year. Have you heard anything?
No.
No? Okay. We hear the same thing, but nothing on the date. It's almost, the year's almost over and they haven't done it. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Over at iTech, the parking lot, it's a project that's been in the works as well for a few months or a year or so. It's now coming to fruition. The lights, we've got a lot of, basically 95% of the lights completed, or maybe even a little bit higher. Went to turn them on. There's some lights that need some rewiring or adjustments just to see what's happening because they're not coming on. So in a second, you'll see some photos of how much more lit the lot is. Pipe fitting lab, non-electrical work, the vendor's PO's been issued, as well as the physical work in that space has already started. So hopefully we'll get that done shortly and that the pipe fitting will be completed. Here's a picture of the parking lot where it's lit up. And if you've gone by there at night, and we didn't have a picture of it completely dark, but it's black. I mean, it is very dark. So here you'll see some of the lights that are illuminated and are providing that illumination. There's some more lights on the backside where you can see how much, where those poles are, how much it helps for the safety of both staff and students going to and from that facility. And that's it. Mr. Mascoro, you have any comments?
No? Well, thank you very much. I know, Mr. Mascoro, you have been in this chiller project since the inception, and so have you, George. Mr. Robles just came in at the tail end of it, but.
I came into a very awesome situation.
Exactly.
It's been more than a year, right?
Oh, yes.
With this, more than a
Yes,
year. Yes.
How long has it been, Mr. Mascoro?
The construction started actually in December 7th of last year, and it's been going on since then, without interruptions at all.
Yeah, it's been a year.
And it's been exciting, Mr. Mascoro.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us what has been the exciting part and the worrying part, because I know it hasn't all been easy.
The worrying part was the equipment delay. That was, actually, we were supposed to be receiving those chillers by August, the end of August. And we finally received them in mid-November. So that's the delay. And because of that, we had to put a lot of pressure on the mechanical contractor, and they were responding pretty well, actually. But we had to run meetings and a lot of stuff going on.
It was challenging, I know.
Yeah.
I know, but thank you for all you've done, Mr. Mascoro.
Thank you, Mr. Mascoro.
And George, the same to you. Thank you. You've been a loyal employee, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, this item is for information only. No action is required.
Policy Committee, Ms. Aldrete.
The Policy Committee met on Tuesday, November 12, 2024. Present were Chair Garza, Vice Chair Sines, President Rodriguez, myself, and members of the TSC Administration, College, and Board Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following item: legal update number 48, and a call on Mr. Frank Perez, our legal counsel.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Dr. Rodriguez, before you, item number 11 of your packet is legal updates for the Policy Committee. As you know, your policy, your TSC policy is divided into two major sections: the legal policy and the local policy. You all have dealt with some of the local policy that you all have written yourselves with the assistance of Mr. Peña and I and of TASB. The legal policy, there's no action required because what the legal policy is a compilation of the applicable laws that govern just about everything the TSC does. Okay? Now, you can't find that law on any topic in one place. So TASB does for us, they compile and explain and summarize the laws in certain categories, for instance, dealing with students. Everything that TSC does in its relationship with its students is governed by a certain portion of your policy. The same goes with dealing with other governmental agencies, the community, and things of that nature. You'll become a lot more familiar with these things as we get local policies for you to address. The legal policies are the law, so we can't change them. We have to accept them. There's no action because all we do is acknowledge that we got them. That's what we're doing in this particular portion of your meeting, and they are already implemented into your policy, and they reflect various changes that the Texas legislature made or that the federal government made that affect TSC. If you have any questions, I'll answer what questions I can. That concludes my presentation. No action is necessary.
This item is for information only. No action is required.
In other words, we have no say-so.
Yeah, exactly. Whether
Thank
we
you.
like it or not.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Thank you, Mr. Perez.
Yes.
And the board will not convene in executive session as provided by Government Code, Chapter 551.071, 551.072, and 551.074. We're now in executive session. from executive session. I have a motion, Ms. Delia Sines.
I move that the Board of Trustees authorize TSC Board Counsel, TSC Legal Counsel to finalize resolution of pending legal issues as discussed in executive session.
I have a motion by Ms. Sines,
Second.
second by Ms. Aldrete. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Mr. Garcia.
I move that the Board of Trustees adopt the revisions to the fiscal year 2024-2025 salary schedule as discussed in the executive session.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Garcia, second by Mr. Camarillo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. We're done? We are done? Yeah, se acabó. Okay, I'll take do I do dates primero or no? Dates for regular board meetings? Se me fue la onda. Regular board meeting Thursday, January 23rd at 5:30. Everything okay with that?
Yes.
And February the 20th? That's before Char Days, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So we're okay with that too?
Yes.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Sainz, second by Mr. Camarillo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Vámonos.
Let's go home. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, trustee.